Turning to politics now, today presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is apologizing for using a private email server while she was Secretary of State. And now, according to a new national poll, her lead is shrinking. She comes in with just 42%, dropping 10 percentage points. That's just in 1 month. Nancy Cordes is at the Brookings Institute in D.C., where Clinton is speaking shortly about the Iran nuclear deal.
That was a mistake. I'm sorry about that. I take responsibility.
Those comments were an abrupt about-face for Clinton, who just 24 hours earlier refused to apologize for her use of private email, telling the AP it was allowed by the State Department. Before now, she has said she is sorry only for any confusion her actions may have caused. But late last night, she posted this note to her supporters. I should have used 2 email addresses. Not doing so was a mistake. I'm sorry about it, and I take full responsibility. Looking to turn the page, Clinton taped an interview with Ellen, which will air tomorrow, part of a broader campaign retooling effort to put Clinton in lighter situations, like The Tonight Show, which will be her next stop. But David Axelrod, who helped run President Obama's campaign in 2008, said her aides shouldn't be telegraphing that strategy quite so loudly.
She does have problems, and one of them is this issue of spontaneity and authenticity. And the way not to deal with it is to say, my plan is to become more spontaneous and authentic.
Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush showed his lighter side last night, promoting his platform and his brand on the premiere episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
I've been using Jeb since 1994.
Yes.
It connotes excitement. It connotes...
While Donald Trump showed his serious side last night on Fox, dropping some foreign policy knowledge a week after flubbing some basic questions on a conservative radio show.
We should have doubled up the sanctions, negotiated for strength. We don't get anything. We're getting nothing from this deal.
Joining us from Washington is CBS News senior political editor Steve Shigaris and congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes. Thanks for being with us, guys.
Good morning.
Sure thing.
So, Nancy, you are at the event. Hillary Clinton has demonstrated her support for the Iran deal in the past, but now she's laying out some specifics. So what do you make of the timing?
Well, this speech has been in the works for a while. She has sort of offered cautious support for the deal up until now. Today, she's going to say she supports it 100%, but that now that its future is no longer in doubt in Congress, now that the president clearly has the votes he needs, it's time to look forward. It's time to look at how to enforce this deal, how to make sure that the Iranians hold up their end of the bargain. She's going to talk about what she calls distrust and verify. Don't assume that the Iranians will do anything that they say they're going to do. She said we need to figure out ways to make sure that they're living up to the standards that are laid out for them in this agreement.
And to that point, Steve, Donald Trump yesterday published an op-ed in USA Today where he denounced the nuclear deal and those who brokered it. And he also, you know, at the end of it, towards the middle of it, he says, if I'm elected, I will make sure the prisoners will be released before my taking office. What is he basing that on?
Well, I mean, he's very optimistic about his effect on domestic policy and foreign policy, obviously. Not basing it on anything that we know, obviously. But, I mean, this is Donald Trump being Donald Trump, and we're going to see him later today with Ted Cruz, Sarah Palin, and others at the Capitol, where they're just going to slam this deal. I mean, he's calling it amateur hour. He's calling it incompetence on the part of President Obama and our politicians. It's what he's been saying all along, and you'll see him rallying Tea Party members and Republicans on this issue later today.
And to that point, Steve, explain to the viewers why Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Sarah Palin and others are headlining this Stop the Iran Deal rally when the president has already secured enough votes to get the deal done.
Well, he's secured enough votes, but there's a majority who don't like this deal. And so they're out there rallying their base, which is really the Tea Party and right-wing conservatives. Ted Cruz put this event together. He invited Donald Trump mainly for the reason to get as much attention on the event as possible. People know that anytime Donald Trump is somewhere, there'll be a ton of cameras, and Cruz is smart enough to realize that, and so that's why he's going to be standing on stage with him. But this is really about rallying against this deal, which a lot of people are still against.
Let me turn to Nancy now and turn back to Secretary Clinton. She is finally saying that she is sorry for using her private server after previously saying she wouldn't. So could these latest poll numbers have pushed her into this apology?
Absolutely. I think that they were a big factor, plus the recognition that she was going to keep getting asked, are you sorry? Why aren't you sorry? Why are you sorry for creating confusion, but not sorry for creating this private email system in the first place? And so I think she decided, and the campaign decided, that the best thing was to just come out and apologize. But the interesting thing is that clearly this was a pretty hasty decision, because on Monday, she told the Associated Press, I did nothing wrong, and I'm sorry for confusion, but she stopped there. On the Ellen show, she said the same thing in that taping, and then suddenly on ABC, she says that she is, in fact, sorry for using a private server, and then she sent out that letter to her supporters. So you can almost, look at all of these appearances and figure out to the hour when she and the campaign made this calculation that they ought to change course.
All right, Steve Shigaris and Nancy Cordes, thank you both very, very much.